Hey, what's going on, Chris? Thank you so much.
What's going on, Kevin? How are you?
Good, man. So I'm here today with Chris Vallone. He is the owner of Classic VW Bugs. I met him at a local pizza shop. One night they had a Volkswagen night. So I was honored and blessed enough to work with him today and shoot some content with the car. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the vehicle, man.
So I've been doing restorations for a good 20 years now, business 17 years.
Right on.
Shop's still cranking in New York. I'm tempted to get something going down here.
Okay.
So I moved down here about 8 months ago, but I had to bring this down with me. So this car called me about 10 years ago.
All right.
Family called me up and said, hey, we saw you on YouTube. We only want our car to go to a good home.
Nice.
And we're out here in Connecticut. My mom died. She bought the car new in '54.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm only the second owner of this car. Yep.
That is wild.
We saw this thing, did the road trip out there to go see it, and sure enough, bought this car. But it sat in my shop for a good 7 or 8 years.
All right. Well, you're busy with client work. I get
Yes,
it.
but it was everyone was like, no, leave it the way it is. It's only original ones. Because it was never restored, never had a paint job on it, anything like that. It still had original seats in it.
Any rust on it?
It did, you know. The
Connecticut
wood,
car, obviously.
the rails on the bottom, support rails were gone. The wood on the top was all gone, rotted out. So before I knew I was coming down, I said, you know, I got to bring this car back to its glory.
Yeah.
And its numbers matching. And to be the second owner of this beauty that's 70 years old now, right? 54. I mean, it's nuts.
This is just a piece of art. Like, so for me, growing up, when I saw the car, I was immediately drawn to it. When I was a kid, my parents had like 3 or 4 of these. I remember doing brakes on it. I remember helping my father lift the engine out of it, right?
Yep,
so it's like, these cars are timeless, in my opinion. You know, the Porsche 911 is kind of derived from the shape. Everything. Ferdinand Porsche, this was his kind of creation for the people's car, and look at it today. Today, this thing still is just as cool, just as everything about these cars are really, really exciting. So
I can't tell you, I tell people all the time, you know, I can go to a high-end car show, like we've gotten into concourses with our cars.
I don't doubt it.
And, you know, you got those cars that are 6-figure, 7-figure cars that are untouchable, really, to the common guy.
Right, 100%.
And, you know, I can show up with the Beetle,
and
it's a crowd of people that comes right to the Beetle because you can relate to it. The stories are here. I can't go to the gas station without being there for 30 minutes.
I don't doubt it. I don't. Well, everybody has had one of these in their family at one point or the other. If they've owned it, if their parents have owned it. I mean, I've come from the later generation of Volkswagens. I had a couple of GTIs. I had the Audi wagons. They're all. You know, the GTI was kind of the sporty.
Sure.
Yeah, it's still a very cool car, but as far as like the Bug, I always wanted to get one of these and throw like a VR6 motor in it just to get the power and the sound. But overall, these things, I don't think it's more about the look and the feel of the car and the sounds and the smells other than the speed. You know, like this thing is not meant for speed. It's meant for cruising. It's meant for enjoying, and it's a part of history. So.
And just the iconic look of it. This is a face here. This is a smile.
Man, the look is
you don't have to be a car person to know that's a Bug.
Right.
So it's just iconic, you know.
Awesome. Chris, this car is absolutely immaculate.
Thank you.
So talk to us about the shop. You have the shop still in Rockland County. That's in New York.
Still cranking, man.
Right on. And now you have nationwide clients, right?
International.
So
I mean, we've shipped them overseas,
How can people find you? If they were interested in purchasing something or talking to you about, you know, working out a price for a build and then getting started, what's the best place to find you?
So my website, classicvwbugs.com, YouTube channel, Classic VW Bugs, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Classic VW Bugs, Instagram, Classic VW Bugs. So multiple ways to get in touch with me. Phone numbers on my website. And I personally like talking to people over the phone, man. I mean, that's still the best way. I'm old school.
Same here, dude. Text message for me it's not new anymore, but I'm more of knocking on doors and talking.
We grew up in a different era, man. I like to talk to you, and so. But we've been doing repairs for a while. The past year and a half or so, I've been dipping into repairs. And my God, it's been so busy. I mean, just a tidal wave of work coming in.
Right.
Because a lot of these shops are closing up. The old timers are gone. You know, it's
retiring,
so we're one of the only few guys around. But we are still doing restoration. It's pretty much still a 2-year kind of wait with that.
Right.
So if you signed on with me today, you're probably not going to see the car for like 2 years.
No, that's realistic though. At least you're giving people a realistic time frame. Now, as far as locating vehicles for them, is that something that you guys do and that's incorporated in the price of the project? Or is it something that you say, hey, guide me in a direction? Like just out of
Either
curiosity.
way. So I have a car that just shipped in from Eugene, Oregon. It's been in their family since 1964, convertible.
Wow.
Father of this family passed away, so the son wants the legacy to live on. So they had the car.
Okay.
Or people call me and say, hey, I was born in 64. Can you find me a 64 and restore it for me?
Right.
And we'll do that too. So that's a separate cost, of course, for finding you the car.
Right on.
But generally speaking, restoration costs started around 80, and it could go to 100 grand, maybe even more. A convertible like this can go over 100.
Over 100K.
You know,
for
it
sure.
it gets up there. You know, ever since COVID, the parts prices have gone up exponentially. I mean, paint jobs now. I mean, this, you know, body and paint for a Beetle
7
now.
to 10 grand easily, right? For
20
or
20.
more.
You know, it's just I can't.
Yeah.
It's so
No,
hard. I got
Look,
5 different shops in New York, and they're all up in the 20s now. It's so hard to get it. The days of doing it for $2,500 or
no. Look, if you get a $2,500 paint job, you might as well just go right back and do it again.
Well, yeah. If you stood in front of the painter, he'd paint you too.
Yeah,
you know, that's
exactly.
for that price. You know,
So, and again, when it comes down to something like this, this is for somebody who loves automobiles, who loves the look of these cars, the feels, the sights, the sounds, the smells. And this is, like you said, man, you have clients that are legacy clients where they're passing this vehicle down from generation to generation, and or somebody remembers a family member who had one, and they're so hooked on the idea of getting it, and that's where somebody like you and your business steps into place and fulfills that role for them.
I get a lot of guys that are car collectors,
right?
That just want a cute bug. Listen, I got a special call about 10 years ago from somebody. I couldn't believe who I got. I'm a fan of this guy.
Yeah,
and this guy called me up and, hey, Chris, I'm Jerry Seinfeld. And I got a Beetle I want to send to you for work. And I'm like, and I wasn't doing repairs.
Right.
It was just a repair job. I did 2 for him.
No shit.
Yeah, walked into my shop. I mean, to be a fan of somebody and he calls, but he's a collector.
He's big. I've followed his car collection now for a number of decades, and he's been into cars. He's got such an eclectic car collection, and he's a real car guy. He doesn't just sit on the cars; he drives them. You know
that was the highlight of my career. I mean,
right.
I mean, to just say, I mean, I'm so fortunate. I mean, I would have never thought, you know, to be driving in my car on the Bluetooth, and my dad's like, yeah, why don't you pull over? I think this is really him. And I'm like, at first I'm like, there's no way. You know, so, and he walked right in, man. He's like, he saw me on YouTube, and that was
awesome,
it. You know,
man. And that's the beauty of the internet. And this is, again, to have you on the YouTube channel here today is really special because, look, one car guy to another, one creator to another, somebody who loves to see things that were a part of our past still be relevant and present today. You really can't beat it. So yeah, this is really awesome. So just once again, where is the best place for everybody to find you if they're interested in purchasing or even just hopping on a phone call with you and saying, hey, this is what I'm thinking I want to do. What's the best step? It seems like you don't
if you want to call me, 845-290-9900.
Okay.
I love it.
Right on. Okay.
Or my internet, my website, classicvwbugs.com. The social platforms are all Classic VW Bugs.
Perfect.
So there's multiple ways to get in touch with me. YouTube people leave comments, or you can email me through there as well.
So Chris, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Good
I'm doing a left hand.
I'm
really a right hand, man.
Good.
We're holding the camera.
It's all good.
This has been really awesome to jam out with Chris today in this amazing 54 Beetle. This is one of those cars where when you see on the street, if you were in your teens, you'd punch your friend in the arm and say, punch Buggy Black, and that was it. No punchbacks, whatever the case was. But at the end of the day, this is a piece of history that you can actually enjoy. It's something where, yeah, maybe if you're looking to go full boat and it costs you $100K, this is $100K you could drive every day and not worry about it getting, you know, kind of damaged into the point where, you know, the high-end cars, they're to the point now where if you have a classic car, and if it's a car that you really like, you may not want to drive it. You know what I mean? So this is a car you can actually drive.
And I'll let you know, like, I do find bugs for people that people can't afford the 80 to 100 to do a restoration.
Right.
They call me up and look, can you find me one that's already done?
Okay.
And if you're in the 10 to 15, 20, 30 range, maybe even 50 range, I can find you that car. It's not something I built, but I can bring it through our shop and go through it, make sure it's turnkey for you, that kind of thing. So there's always those options for you. There's always, like my dad says, there's always more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, 100%, man. Hey, look, you know what? Options equal opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So the more options you give somebody, the more opportunity they have to step into a car like this.
Exactly, yep.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much.
Hell yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure.
My man.
And yeah, we'll be in touch soon.
Cool, brother.
Perfect.
All right.